8 must-knows before you go cruising. Hi everybody, welcome back to Cruising with Kim and Jen. Today we're going to be talking about 8 things that we think that you need to know before you go cruising. The first thing we're going to start with is a carry-on bag. Now, most people do have carry-on bags, but some things that you want to have in your carry-on bags are really important, like your passport. You want to have your passport or your birth certificate, right? Mm-hmm. Or your birth certificate. Print your boarding pass, your cruising boarding pass, and have that available just in case, just in case, that you weren't able to pull it up or they didn't have good Wi-Fi. And then don't forget your luggage tags. We always put them on our luggage before we give to the porter, and they're in a little clear case, but we usually take an extra one just in case as well. Yep. So those are some important things. What else do they need?
So make sure this one's kind of like you would think everyone knows, but I don't know. I seem to always be without cash. But make sure you take some cash, some small bills, a few fives, several ones, because you're gonna be tipping people at the airport, porter at the port when you get off, and cabs if you're taking cabs, whatever. Just, you might need some for the casino. There are many times you're going to need some cash.
So think about that. And you don't have to carry it with you all the time. You can put it in the safe.
Yeah.
We always did that.
Yeah, we did that.
Yes. That way you just have that. Another thing you want to do is research your excursions and ports. We have videos on different ports, like ports where you can go on a budget and different things. And there's lots of videos out there, but
you don't have to buy expensive excursions and spend all that money, but probably you should research it to know which ports have things that you can, that you don't have to spend a lot of money in.
Absolutely.
And we've talked about some of those, but I can't imagine just showing up and not knowing what you're going to do for the day.
Exactly. What else?
So a lot of people want to know about the Faster to the Fun for Carnival or the Key for Royal Caribbean. We did the Key on Wonder of the Seas.
Loved it.
It was great. I mean, yes, it's a little bit,
pricey.
A little pricey and another added expense, but it was so worth it. There was line for blocks, people waiting to get in. And we just walked up and walked right on the ship.
Right at our boarding time.
Right.
We didn't even have to wait in a line.
Yeah.
And so that's the benefit of boarding, especially if you're on a mega ship. That was great. And then
it also got us a VIP lunch at Chops Grill. It gets you priority seating in some shows. And I think when you get off the ship at ports, right?
Yeah, when you get off the ship at port, you can be one of the first people off, especially if you have to take a tender. Some of the locations where you have to take the little boat over, that could be beneficial as well. But just think about that. We didn't do it on the smaller boats and didn't feel like we need it. But if you're doing Royals, you can find it. Oh, it's down in the VIP section is where you find it, because
you have to search a little bit, but it's it's there.
Definitely worth it.
It was definitely nice to have. At least on that ship it was. Okay.
Another thing is watch. You may want to take a watch, like just a cheap watch, and then set it to your ship time. If you're leaving out of Central region, you're going to be on Central time. That is your ship's time. If you're leaving on the East Coast, West Coast, it will be your ship's time. So depending on your ports of call that you go to, it could be a different time, and that's really important to note. So if you set your watch to ship time, you will always follow ship time. Now, if you don't want to take a watch, or if you just want to, set your phone will automatically set, if you have an iPhone, to whatever location you're at. And that will not be ship time, so it's not going to be accurate.
That's true.
We found that out. A lot of people are missing their ships, too, to get back on. And that's a scary thought.
And it's confusing, trying to figure out.
It is confusing.
What time is it?
What time is it here and all this. So what you can do is, and I'll show you, a picture of this, is you go to your settings and then go to General. And then on general, go to date and time. And on date and time, you will uncheck the automatic so it won't automatically convert. And you set whatever the ship time is. Is it central? Is it western? Is it eastern? You know, whatever time it is. And then that way your iPhone will always be on ship time. And so I would strongly recommend that.
You're so sweet. Yeah, sweet face.
It's a little Evie.
Okay, yeah. A lot of people ask about taking pop soda on the ship. They allow you to take a 12-pack per person of pop, I guess anything that's in a can. You can also take a bottle of alcohol, like wine or whatever, 1 bottle per person on board. So you will have to carry those around with you until you get in your room. And
which could be a few hours.
that looked a little inconvenient to me. People had their little carry-on bags and their 12
Had it sitting
packs.
on top.
Some families had like several 12 packs of pops with them. So,
Absolutely.
but you are allowed to take it, and you can take that.
Yeah. So, you know, that's something to consider too. And lastly, airplane mode. You know, you want to make sure that you have your phone set to airplane mode. That way you won't have roaming charges. I kind of learned the hard way. They kept telling us to put it on airplane mode. I did not. And then I was met with a nice bill. I've heard people that they say it can be thousands. Mine was not. You know, it was closer to $120 extra.
Yeah.
But I kind of learned halfway through.
Yeah.
But you could also...
Check with your phone company, your phone carrier, because they may have a plan, a cruise plan that is just a set amount of money, and that way you don't have surprises.
Yeah, no surprises. We don't like those financial
Nope.
surprises. So hopefully this has helped, and these are the things that we feel like you must know before you go. And if it has, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time when we talk about Wonder of the Seas, our big,
That's a big
mega
one.
ship. So,
Yeah.
bye. Say bye, Evie. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Bye.